this is one thing we use in Huddle, called defensive player targeted. It allows us to go through, and how we really got to this was we were trying to figure out who our best defensive backs. We felt like we had 7 or 8 kids that could play for us. And so we were going through evaluating one-on-one, Skelly, and it was just our practice. It was a way for our kids to go back and see all their reps. It was a way for me to evaluate all those kids' reps. And our defensive back coach said, why can't we use this, as a game evaluation? And I thought, yeah, I think we can do that. So for us, this is the whole entire season. This is our 2018 season. And simply when we feel that it was that player that was targeted, his gap in the run game, if he was a defensive back or a man coverage player, that was his responsibility. We felt, we labeled that kid. So this is, 52, who is our Bob linebacker. He was targeted 73 times on the season in 10 games, which was 10% of the season. And, teams averaged 3.4 yards on him, when he was the guy, the point of attack. So we kind of started there and went through, and I got a typo down here. I think something's been copied over. But it allowed us a quick, view of, 8.2, okay, 12.7, okay, some, eye-dropping numbers. Obviously, this is only 7 plays, but 23.3, that's really explosive. So then we took that, because then I wanted to see, some of these are defensive backs, and this kid has given up 6.6 yards of play. But let's go into it a little deeper. So then we took that report and we added efficiency in it. So now that same kid who was giving up 6.6 yards of play, you find out that 58% of the time he was efficient. Now, as a defensive back corner for us, a lot of these are incomplete passes. So he was targeted 52 times on the season, so 5 times a game, 5.2 times a game, giving up 6.6 yards a play when he was targeted. Obviously, when he wasn't great in his technique or a kid made a play, it went for 15.6, and that was 42% of the time. 58% of the time, it went for negative yards, incomplete passes, TFLs, maybe a bubble screen, some there. And what we'll talk about with our kids is a 60% grade. It gives us a chance to win. Closer to 70% efficiency is domination on defense. And if you're in that 50% range, you're giving the other team a good shot, like your offense needs to bail you out. Anything less than 50, you're probably getting whooped. You're probably getting put up 50 points, 500 yards of offense in terms of the whole defense. So we just talked to our kids about, over 50% or over 60% is a winning grade. So at the end of the day, our kid that got targeted the most had that 60%. He's our Bob linebacker. He's one of our better players. When he got targeted, 3.4 yards a play. So obviously pretty good there. And then the things I'll look at is when he wasn't good, all right, whether it was man coverage, a gap scheme, and he should have made a play and he missed a tackle, it went for 8.3. At the end of the day, I think as a coordinator, you can live with something going for 8.3 yards 40% of the time. What you don't want is something 40% of the time going for 19.9. So everyone that played this whole entire season that was at a point of attack to make a play is on here. Now, I like this a lot for the defensive backs. I think it's fine for the linebackers and the D linemen, but I think the biggest thing I'll take away as a D line aspect is generally if you're a 3 technique, the offense is not going to run the ball in the B gap. That running back's going to find an open hole, right? He's going to go A or C if you're sitting there doing a good job. So that's one thing, like your D-line numbers are going to be probably pretty good. This kid was a D-lineman for us. He was 79% efficient. When, 5% of the time when he was the guy at the point of attack, an offense for the whole entire season averaged 22 yards total, 2.2 yards a game. Very good player for us. Another kid who played really well for us, was this kid, 50, he was a little light in the butt. So, 57% of the time he was efficient, one of our best players. This kid led the nation in sacks, so he was 77% efficient. An offense gained 36 yards when he was the guy at the point of attack. a D lineman where these numbers are a little skewed because one of these plays was a 62-yard run that he got out-gapped. But at the end of the day, if that's something that persists, you know that you got to find a guy that can fix that, and a good example was his backup here, and we didn't do this until after the season. And we started looking, we're like, man, his backup, only was affected 9 times at the point of attack, but he was 89% efficient. And this was something going into 2019 year that we knew this kid was going to be a senior starter, and he was first team all-conference defensive lineman, led our conference in sacks. So it was something that I wish we were doing during the games in 2018 that we didn't get to until the off-season study, which I thought was kind of unique. And then obviously if you have Huddle, you know that you can click on these and it goes to the report. So like, let's click. We usually watch something, really good that I have. So let's check out the bad stuff. Bad stuff happens to us too. So here, it's 3rd and 9. There's our Bob linebacker. He's the kid that is targeted, and we label him here as the point of attack. He misses a sack. It goes for a 47-yard scramble. All right. The next most explosive play that he gave up all year, he's right here, is an 18-yard scramble. All right. And it also allows you to kind of see, with tackling, I think the Atavis tackling system, shout out to my guys up there in the Northwest, is that they are doing this from a tackling standpoint. And with the defensive player targeted, we are doing this on every snap of the game. So it's determining, at the end of the day, let's watch another play. Here's a run. What is this kid really good at? What is he bad at? And it gives you some valuable data within your team to show, hey, this kid, and he just MAs here. He's the C-gap defender. So he would have the quarterback on zone read. Now, my man 27 kind of gets bailed out because you can only have one defensive player targeted. But at the end of the day, 52 is our C-gap player. Where's the ball ran? All right, he's not blocked, so we're saying you're a quarterback player. We want him to slow read that, not sure what he's doing. All right, and that's kind of nitpicky, like maybe you could call it on 27. But I think it takes some favoritism out of different positions grading. At the end of the day, it's who was the guy targeted? What gap was it ran in? That's his responsibility. The one thing that we will do is if I was an A-gap responsible player and I make a TFL in the C-gap, we're not giving the C-gap guy credit. We're giving that guy who got the TFL credit, the guy that busted his butt and the guy who made a play. So that's a way that we're able to look at the game and see kind of, how good is this kid? What's the efficiency that he has? And when he's the guy at attack, if the kid that leads your team and getting targeted gives up, 20 yards of play, you might need to find a new guy to play that position because someone on your team's got to be better than giving up 20 yards of play. So I think that is something unique that we've done. I'm not sure if anyone else does it. If they do, I'd love for you to reach out and we can have a discussion. If you do something similar or you add upon that, I'd like to know. Thank you. Have a nice weekend.